It's that time of the year, and any day now, the Shenandoah Valley could be blanketed with the white stuff. But if the Virginia Department of Transportation has their way, it won't be on our roads for long. Today, VDOT's Ken Slack and Don Colmara invited the media to tour a Virginia Department of Transportation salt storage facility, view several pieces of equipment that will be used to remove snow this year, and to inform us about VDOT's readiness and capabilities to battle the snow this season. One thing many Virginians notice around this time of the year is whether or not the Department of Transportation is out and about pre-treating the roads prior to a storm. VDOT's Ken Slack explained when pre-treatment is effective and when it is not.
Procedures we use for pre-treating or anti-icing, depending on who you ask, you might get that terminology, but it basically means the same thing. It's when we put the white stripes on the roads. That over the past probably 6 to 8 years, people have really gotten used to seeing those stripes on the road, and that's when they know something's in the forecast, of expecting some kind of precipitation out there, frozen variety. But in fact, we've gotten to the point now where we'll get calls, and I know you guys get calls too, where, did VDOT pre-treat, are you guys pre-treating, or why didn't you pre-treat? A lot of times when we don't, it's because of how the forecast is expected to evolve. I mean, you guys have seen where we'll start out as rain in the afternoon or evening, and then during the overnight hours it'll switch over to something frozen. But if we pre-treat in a case like that, if we're expecting it to start as rain, it just would wash it off and it would be a waste of time and money. So if the forecast is calling for it to start as snow or start as sleet, we'll do the pre-treating in those kinds of cases where we're going to make sure it's effective.
Statewide, VDOT has a budget of $205 million for the 2019-2020 snow removal season. About $14 million of that will be used here locally in the Stanton District, which covers 7,000 miles of roads in 11 counties. 940 vehicles will be available to the Stanton District, and 12,000 will be available statewide. Some of those vehicles are contractor vehicles and even farm equipment.
So yeah, we're very fortunate to have good people. Got great contractors too. We've got a bunch of them. Some of the things we're using more and more is tractors. A lot of the farmers are pushing. We're helping us push. Don't have spreaders on those, but we'll hit a truck with them and let them follow them around. I love telling the story. Y'all probably heard it before. The first how we started getting tractors. I had a guy come in here mad as a hornet. Says, this guy, you pushed right up to his road and you didn't push anymore. And I'm like, and I called my maintenance manager, Mark, what are we doing? I mean, we gotta. And he's like, Dawn, that guy has got milk, and he pushed that road with his farm tractor. So we went out there and said, hey man, will you help us out some more? Can you go the other way? Because people are killing me that live on the other side of you. And he's like, well, I got this product I got to dump. If I can't, these cows still give milk. And I got to dump it if I can't get it out. So yeah, we started signing him up, and I'll say, I don't want to go any further than my area, because I still got these cows that give milk twice a day, and I can't. And so we started signing more and more, and then some of them, not the dairy farmers, they started pitching in and say, well, I'm not doing a heck of a lot this time of year. And so we've signed them up, and they get our subdivisions real good and a lot of the secondaries, and we send a truck when they have to behind them. And but they've been a real big addition to our fleet, our snow removal fleet.
Now, VDOT's number one tool to combat the snow and ice is salt, and of course, lots of plows. However, if the temperatures dip into the teens, VDOT workers have to deploy other more expensive chemicals to combat the snow and ice.
Salt alone is not going to melt that stuff. But we do have some other kinds of chemicals we can use, the magnesium chloride and calcium chloride, but they are more expensive, so we use those when we need to. But salt is by far our most common resource. And we'll mix in some abrasives too, basically small gravel that's mixed in with it to help with traction.
Virginia Department of Transportation resident engineer Don Colmara has some advice for motorists during the snow season.
I always tell people that when you're driving in bad weather, inclement weather, it's always good to let people know where you're going, when you hope to arrive, so that if you're not, then to send somebody to look for them. I always tell folks to clean all the snow off your glass. So many times you see the person driving down with the tunnel just enough, or just with the windshield wiper kicked off. One of the little things I do is I put a bag of cheap cat litter in my trunk, and that way I could throw it under a tire, help me get traction. If you get stuck, that's always, it's always something. And then if you spill oil like I did just changing the oil the other day, it does good to clean that up also. But I think that traveling when you don't have to, I mean, I don't know how many times we get somebody stuck and you go to help them and they say, well, man, I just wondering how it was, or I needed one guy, his wife went out to get him a plug of tobacco. She said she felt like, or whatever else you had to slip out to get. But and give it. Usually we're lucky in the valley because the temperatures help us tremendously after the storm. It helps dry it up and take it away from here. So if you could take the night off, a lot of times that's a good thing. Of course, not for emergency response folks, but the weekend snows are great for everybody but us, because we have families too, and it's costly because it's overtime for us, but it's incredible how that comes down to the volumes. And one of the big things in this area, and I'll stop, is black ice, man. Especially this time of year and in the spring, you get rain and then it just looks clear, and then you drive faster. So you reduce your following distances on people and really steer your way and not cram right on the brakes if you feel yourself back off of that. But black ice is a big culprit for a lot of accidents.
In Harrisonburg, Theodore Whitelow, Breaking Through News.